What's up, everyone? This is episode 156 of the Blrd podcast. As always, we have Green Tuner.
Hello.
Dark Side.
Hey, what's going on?
Bandito Mac.
I am present.
Creamcast.
Hey, what's going on, everybody?
Snake.
Who are you? I think I need an adult.
Yes, you do. Anyways, and the best in the world, the one and only, the main character of this story and this podcast has returned to defeat Frieza. The one and only Ed on the ground. Baby. How you guys doing?
We're doing pretty good, man. I'm kind of confused of who is this? I mean, we have a full panel today, and it's kind of weird that we have once again the special guest, and we're not talking about Snake.
Special guest.
Yeah, a person
Guest star.
Well, the star. The star.
Yeah, he's special.
Hey, you are special. You're
not the special that you want.
special. We're saying you're special.
Yeah.
The star. I've come back to help save Bulma,
Special.
Yamcha, Krillin.
Now, Creamcast.
Yes.
Who else is it?
Do you have the ability, just randomly asking, do you have the ability to mute people?
Absolutely. I have.
Okay. I'm just checking and reminding you and checking at the same time.
You'll be a good politician.
As the main character of
Me.
Of this podcast,
Me.
I have the ability to mute those who I see fit. So
Yes.
Ed is speaking out of turn or out of
Out of turn.
I will
Out of turn.
swiftly.
One would say,
execute
Creamcast,
justice.
you might be entirely at fault for certain scenarios that have occurred. I'm not even saying what
Scenarios.
what's going to happen going forward. I'm saying what has already occurred. Nothing specific, but you may be at fault for not already muting, is what I'm saying.
Yes.
Enough double speak.
Yeah,
What is it?
but I'm just,
What, you want to mute his bitch ass?
no, I would never say that. I would
What
just
do
say,
you-
I'm just implying that Creamcast has the ability to mute and remove individuals from the stream. I mean, I'm just saying.
Why would
I'm just
Creamcast
saying.
is also a just individual
Yes,
and
he
needs
is.
to outweigh if
Yes.
how much of the Ed toxing is acceptable.
Why would you want to be removed? Why would you want to remove yourself, though? I'm
I don't know.
confused.
No.
'Cause
Yeah. You're
I
right.
am the podcast. I mean,
You know the crazy thing.
Come on.
Much like a tumor, you have to carefully cut around it. You don't want to get too much of like the good flesh out of the way.
Yeah,
So
gotta
he
cut.
has to go in with a scalpel. You just can't just shut off his mic. It needs to be, like a surgeon's precise.
In this particular case, I suggest an amputation.
I am a surgeon. I am a surgeon when it comes to the mic. So
Okay, guys,
I am surgical.
I believe
I'm a
it's
lyrical
safe.
stylist.
Guys.
But go on.
I have a suggestion.
Okay.
Moving forward, if we're going to do this by vote, if we ever need to mute anybody, we shall vote and we'll make a decision. All right, guys, it was actually a great vote. We're gonna just go ahead and mute it now.
Yep,
Get that
go
out of the way.
ahead.
You guys, great job. We did it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love democracy. Democracy wins.
Democracy happened once again.
Democracy won. He has a mandate. God damn it!
Yeah,
Politicians.
like
Politicians.
My first executive order I'm gonna put out there, and it was to mute the underground. But I felt merciful. I'm going to give him a second shot. Two strikes, you're out, sir.
So generous.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna give you three, just two.
Best in the world, baby.
Yeah,
Ed, thanks for coming, bud.
I know I was on Snake Way, but I'm here. I'm here to save.
So
I know Yamcha's probably like dead now, but
So the funny thing is,
No, why you gotta fucking drag me into this?
no, he's talking about it's a Dragon
I
Ball.
wasn't calling you Yamcha, but if you
I
wanna
know
be
what he
called Yamcha-
said, and I know what he meant.
But the funny thing is, if he's in Snake Way, that means he got murked. So
Mhm.
Oh no, that means I sacrificed. I sacrificed myself for the good of mankind.
yeah,
But I'm back
What are we
now.
watching this week?
Well, you know what, Ed Undergrad, you should kick it off, man. I mean, you know, then
wait,
you're the
before-
guest star.
But before we
You know what I'm
do,
saying?
shout out to Black Girls Hack for coming through in the chat. She said this is y'all's fault for putting him back in here. It was
No.
I am the podcast.
Black Girls Hack. Once again, only one man has the power to mute, add, remove, block, father certain individuals. Like, I mean, and we have to live with the
Hired
consequences.
certain people.
Yeah.
All right, contraceptives are
Running a bit
necessary.
close to an open microwave door before he had it,
Yeah.
but you know what are you gonna do?
The microwave was
It
very,
makes no
very low.
sense.
It was on the counter. We just
I
kept it
mean,
open all the time.
For some
believe you-
reason, Cream microwaved his testicles for 3 minutes straight without noticing.
yeah,
So
I
it was
believe-
beyond.
Wait,
being
wait,
able to
wait,
repair.
wait.
Wrapped around.
pause.
What about all that
Pause.
lead paint he
Wait,
ingested?
wait,
I was,
pause.
yeah, I was just gonna
While
say,
huffing
Pause.
asbestos.
Pause. Hold on,
go
pause.
ahead and hit that mute there.
Yes, testicles.
Yeah, mute that individual, please.
Yeah.
All right.
When it was given birth to you, you didn't have any testicles, so
Man, is that mute button working, or
It
you want to
is-
check,
it's-
you check
it
your
is very
settings there?
It is very faulty at the moment. I don't know what the hell's going on.
I like how he started losing
Not
confidence
good.
in the insult halfway through. He's like,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
your testicles.
that are non-existent. But yeah,
Non-existent,
Oh,
yeah.
so Black Girls Hack actually says it's been going great without you. Actually, Underground. It's like a bloodletting. You know, you gotta let the blood out, let the bad blood out, so that the good blood can come in and do what it does. And she
Yeah.
said, ultimately, at the end of the day, you ain't gotta go home. You can kind of
Yeah.
figure out the rest.
well, for a Black Girls Hack, I am the podcast, and it may be great, but now it's going to get phenomenal because I'm the best in the world, baby.
Hey, Bay. All
Main
right.
character
Okay.
right here.
Main
All
character.
right. You know what?
Hey, baby.
I think
That's a perfect segue. Ed Underground. Hey, you know about what our topic is today. You know, as
Hit it
as a special guest, you were made aware of what we were going to review today. So yeah, go ahead and kick us off, man. Tell us what we're reviewing today.
absolutely.
So we are reviewing the surveillance and well anything else I don't know actually because that's all I was told.
What are we reviewing?
What
Yeah.
were
The
we reviewing?
surveillance?
The surveillance.
Substance?
Yes.
Substance.
Okay,
I'm getting
all right.
I'm getting two movies confused because I
Okay.
saw
Yeah.
something
Okay, but go
else
ahead.
that was
Go ahead.
very.
Called the surveillance.
Yeah.
Go ahead with your
Well,
review. Ed
I
Underground.
saw
please.
two
Yes.
movies are very similar because they both have two female leads. One's more of a horror movie. The other one is more of a cybernetic slasher. Well, not a slasher, but
Cool.
it's
Go
good.
on.
All right,
Megan
so,
Fox in it.
all right, so
Yeah.
go ahead.
Nobody.
No, I was gonna say, Ed, this is all right. So tell us about the surveillance. Tell us what you thought about it and so forth. Let's go ahead and kick it off. We'll go around the room like we normally do.
It's very good. Lots of nudity. Lots of I would say very testimonial to how things are in the world, dealing
Holy
with
shit.
Very
beauty standards. Hold
testimonial.
on.
No, he's
Dealing with
let him
beauty.
cook.
Hold
He's
on.
cooking.
Hold on. Dealing with beauty standards. How people have this how do you say false? Maybe not false sense, but this perception of how beauty should be. And me being a graphic designer, how a lot of things are altered. We know that as graphic designers, but to the world, they may not know that. So what they see as beauty, it's actually a lie. So a lot of people have this false image of what beauty standards should be. So they do this and that. They poke, they cut, implant. And I would say this is a result of that in a way. More on the medical side, but yeah.
I'm
Oh,
just gonna
wow.
jump
Okay.
in here. So Ed's managed to get both movie titles wrong. We're talking about the substance, and he's talking about
I said-
subservience.
I said both, didn't I? Didn't I
No,
say
he did-
both?
he
You said neither. You said
no, he did. He did.
surveillance.
No, he
you
said
meant
surveillance.
subservience.
Well, hold on now. Ed, go on with your review, though.
Well, he did say he did. But to be fair, he
You
did say
just
the
said the
substance.
review right now.
He did say the
Yeah.
substance.
Oh, I thought you were reading the
man.
like a synopsis or something off fucking
Have-
IMDb.
Whoa. We know.
No.
First off,
GPT.
we know that's
It's
not
not
true.
like
No.
a high school freshman's description of the
Oops.
movie, but
I
that was
know.
his review.
Have you guys not heard Ed read before? That was way too succinct for him to actually
I
be reading
think
off the
That's what
That
I'm
this
saying.
movie
That's
was
what I'm
fake.
saying.
Haters
I'm
gonna
fucking
dying.
hate. That's all I'm gonna say.
Ed, I'm just saying, close down IMDb comment section. What did you think of the movie, man? Come on.
It's all right.
But the movie that we want you to review is the
Which
substance.
movie? Which movie's all right?
Yeah, it's all right. It's good. I wish it was in theaters though, but it was good.
Which movie?
Very
It
good.
was in theaters.
It was in theaters.
It was in theaters?
Yes.
Yeah.
What?
Huh, okay.
Yes, it was.
I didn't know that.
But what movie are you
Everything
talking
else,
about?
yeah.
I'm confused. What movie are you talking about?
The whatever it's called, surveillance, whatever.
Surveillance.
Theme.
Okay. I just want to make sure. I was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
surveillance.
I'm gonna look up surveillance.
It's talking
real
about
quick here.
surveillance.
Okay, no, that's hey guys, that's Ed's review.
Yeah.
That's a fair review. I have to agree, but for a different movie, like I guess I didn't catch up. I watched the substance, which
That's what I'm talking about.
oh, so you're talking about okay. I just want to make
Yes,
sure.
I saw two movies that are very similar. Like I said earlier, two
Yeah.
main characters, two main female-led characters, which are both pretty good.
Mhm.
One just happens to be a cyborg. The other one just happens to be, human. So
What was the second?
Okay.
What was the second movie called? So we
with
watched the
Megan
substance.
Fox,
Yeah.
I forgot because I really got the two names mixed up. They both have an S in it.
Because I'm looking at Surveillance was a 2008 movie with
Yep.
Bill Pullman and Julia Ormond. So
Okay.
I don't think that's what
Well,
you're talking about.
since you're on the computer, look up the most recent movie of Megan Fox. I think it was on
Megan
Netflix.
It was what
All right.
it was what Nick said. It was substance.
Yeah, I think I did watch the same movie as Ed, Subservience. I also misread the chat, so I thought that
Hilarious.
you know what's funny?
Yeah.
I also watched the Megan Fox movie and assumed it was called Surveillance, and I just watched it, and I thought that's what we're reviewing.
Wait, so
Wow, look at that.
I
You didn't watch the
no,
substance?
I don't believe.
I mean, it happens. Hold on, it happens.
You
It
swore.
happens.
Okay,
No.
okay,
It
all right,
happens.
okay.
It happens. All right.
Okay, all right. He's
You know what? I'm prepared to review Surveillance
okay.
as
So
a
am I.
target.
Okay, so am I. I'm
So,
good.
you guys want to review surveillance?
Oh, we all gotta go watch a
Substance.
flick.
Yeah, yeah. Guys, give me about 2 hours. Let me watch it real quick.
Mhm.
And I'll be right
I'm
back
serious.
on the podcast.
No, I'm gonna review without watching it.
I seriously watched both of the movies that
That's,
Ed's talking about. So
Oh, really?
You
Oh,
yeah,
really did though?
Hilarious.
I really did.
Oh,
One of
okay.
them's a piece of shit, and I'm surprised I couldn't even get through it. But
Wait, which one are you talking about?
at Underground,
What?
which one am I
The
talking
Megan
about? That
Fox
is the
one,
question.
or
Exactly, that's
the
the point.
I forgot her name.
That's the hook, baby.
Demi Moore.
They both
Demi Moore.
they both star women. Okay, and
They
it's a
both start
violent
with an
They're
S.
so similar.
Man, we're
They
So
both
similar,
have
yeah.
female leads.
really narrowing down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right. Fine. Ed, like I guess we're up against the wall here. They both. It stars a dark-haired female. It has
They both
gratuitous.
have dark
nudity.
hair.
There
They
you go.
both had. Well, one had
It's a
more,
vi-
but yeah,
Yeah.
It's a violent movie. Like we could say that.
they're
And
both violent.
Yeah. In a way, it's a reflection of society, right? Ed.
Actually, both they are. They both are.
Yeah. Absolutely.
You know,
Absolutely.
yeah.
These are some
Yeah.
very,
Yeah.
very gripping reviews. Like
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, I get your master's thesis out of this one right
Yeah.
here.
Right. I'm turning to a
And,
cinemaphile right now. Like, man, this
Holy
is
shit! Gonna win a Pulitzer.
right.
And I,
Heck yeah.
and
Fuck you,
I'm
Roger
not,
Ebert.
and I'm not feeling too welcome in the chat right now. I mean, I don't know if I'm the only one, but I'm not feeling too welcome right now with my 5-star review coming up of Surveillance.
Yeah. Yeah. Ed Underground, we forgive you, Ed. Now for the rest of us that watched the show,
Surveillance.
The show?
The movie that we were supposed to watch, which is
It's a show. It's a show.
It's a
To
show.
some extent, it's a show.
Yeah,
There's a
Sure.
show in the movie.
Some would say it's a show.
yeah, The Substance, which we were supposed to review, is a movie that came out, I believe, in 2024. With Demi Moore as the lead character, with also I forgot who else.
Maggie Coyley. Maggie Coyley, I think.
Maggie Coyley, yeah, Dennis Quaid.
Margaret Coyley.
Margaret Qualley, Dennis Quaid. Yeah, so the cast was actually, I mean, around those three main characters. That's really what it centered around the entire time. This was recommended, I believe, by either Darkside or Green Tuner.
Definitely a Green Tuner movie.
Yeah, it's definitely a Green Tuner movie.
It's a Tuner movie, though. I've been wanting to watch it, but Tuner would recommend it for
Absolutely.
this. It's not a usual Blrd podcast recommendation because there's not a lot of MCU references in this movie. However,
This is a very niche movie.
yeah, so this is definitely a Green Tuner selection. But I'm glad he suggested it because I love this movie. It was a great movie.
Yeah, I love this
great
movie. It was an amazing movie.
I'm not gonna lie. So earlier this week, Bandito had some choice emotes that he had put into the chat and gifs or if you say gifs or gifs, however you want
about this movie.
About this movie, yeah, you probably didn't understand because you were busy watching us.
He wasn't expecting it. It hits you like a fucking semi truck.
Yeah,
you're just like sitting in traffic, and all of a sudden you get hit with body grotesque horror. What the fuck is going on?
I completely missed this.
So,
Ed, you would miss it when you're posting 50 random
well-deserved. Well-deserved.
Well-deserved. But of course, Ed completely ignores the conversations.
Yeah, okay, let's focus. So yeah, I ended up watching it today, which was I kind of didn't know what to expect because I was kind of looking at it from a perspective of Bandito's perspective. I know Bandito doesn't necessarily have like the strongest stomach for certain things. Like, and I'm not saying like he pushes out on things, but like he's not.
What you're saying?
He's not Will Baby, but like I was really looking for super grotesque things, and I was like, and I had an idea of what to expect. But then when I saw it, I was like, I was not expecting this whatsoever. So I could kind of see where certain things where he was saying, like, my face at certain points in the movie was really crazy. I loved, honestly, I did not know what to expect with Demi Moore, right? I can't recall in the past decade a movie with Demi Moore in it that I liked. I'm not saying that she's not a phenomenal actor or anything of the sort. It was just I couldn't think of anything, so I was kind of wondering like what was she going to bring, and I mean, did she bring it or not? I thought she did a phenomenal job. This was a movie, in my opinion, that while very Green Tuner-esque, I feel like this is a movie a majority of people who watch it would get the message and will understand the visuals and the stories of what they're trying to convey. I really enjoyed like the perspective that they had between is it Margaret? Margaret
Qualley.
Margaret Qualley. Her perspective on the world versus Demi Moore's perspective, and how drastic them clinging to life. They're both trying to cling to life in some capacity, but seeing how different their perspective was. And by the way, spoilers for anybody who's listening, but seeing their perspective on like an older woman who is no longer the it girl, who is out of the spotlight, trying to cling on to fame and fortune and pretty much being recognizable out in the world. And then here's the new up and coming person who's getting all this fame and so forth and just wants to live. Now she has the fame, but now she is limited on time and trying to be the it girl. And ultimately both of their goals kind of aligning at the end. I thought, even though it was somewhat kind of a grotesque way they went about it at times, I love the like at first their paths were diverging. We started off the single point, they both wanted the same thing, diverged, and eventually came back together. to the amalgamation of what both of them combined had become.
Sort of, right? I mean, and to clarify,
fusion,
these
basically?
two people they're both the same person, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
You have Demi Moore's character, who is the older, the aging star, whereas when she takes the substance, it becomes Margaret Qualley's character, by the name of Sue. Then Sue is then sort of her own person, but they're still one, right?
Mhm.
And there was in that whole ending sequence, or near the end, right, where there's a whole ass fucking fight sequence, which was fucking ridiculous.
It was ridiculous.
Yeah,
The copy of the copy.
Yeah.
That was
yeah,
hilarious. Then she had the face cut out of Demi Moore when she was what's it called, trying to get her new face on.
Well, I think you're talking about the fight scene. Are you talking about the fight scene between Sue and Elizabeth?
Yeah.
So I think.
That's before. Okay.
Before. Yeah, that was. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. She kicked the shit out. Sue kicked the shit out of Elizabeth.
That was
I
hilarious.
was not expecting that when she was like kicking her into the wall and everything. I was like, what the? Like, she's strong as shit.
I didn't understand what the hell was going on. So like that was probably my problem, because I guess I didn't enjoy it as much as you guys did. I guess because I felt like you have the message, obviously what you were saying about how it's about a woman trying to hold on to like her youth, her fame, and ultimately, right, her beauty. And this movie wasn't necessarily subtle about that. It kind of was just pretty much here's this,
Definitely
kind of like a Cronenberg, Jekyll and Hyde.
I think that was the point of it, though. I think they were trying to make it like just as ham-fisted as possible of a message.
Yeah.
Like no subtlety, like just in your face. That's why, like, even like the shots and the music and everything was like so like over the top. It literally was sometimes like just the cocaine version of like a movie, with the super bright neon colors and the close-up shots of the ass with super heavy bass techno pumping in, and the words on screen like beauty, beauty, beauty. You're like, oh, like shit.
I feel like that's also like part of my problem with it, was where it had this sort of message about the fault of trying to maintain that sort of standard, having this unrealistic beauty standard for someone who's growing up, but at the same time it was showing like, here's Margaret Qualley's ass, here it is again, and it's like, it was like, am I supposed to care about this or not? It's like, are we not supposed to have this fixation on beauty, but at the same time, like, here she is naked, and then like when she turned into that weird blob character, then she like barfed up. She barfed up
Mastro Elisu. I think that's what it's called. Mastro Elisu.
She started throwing up. She threw up a fucking boob, right? Like,
like what did it? I thought it like just popped out like a teardrop.
No, she threw up a boob out of her eye, almost. Like her side eye, which was.
So I'm like, it seemed like conflicting ideas almost, where it was sort of this like, don't fixate on your beauty, but look how hot she is, though, right? Like,
I think that's the point, though, isn't it? I think the point of it is like, like they're showing you how bad it is, and they're actually like blatantly doing it, like to the point where it's like softcore porn, basically.
What's it too? Would you say? And I know Snake, you had something, but would you say it's too gratuitous? You thought?
No, not. And I don't think I wouldn't call it like too gratuitous on its own. But I felt like for what the movie was trying to say, I guess that.
Because I mean, we just saw like Nosferatu, and that had like some very gratuitous like sexual, undertones or overtones everywhere. So that's what I'm saying. It's just, I guess, maybe how they deliver it. Is that maybe the problem?
Yeah, exactly. I think that's just how it shaped up, like how they delivered it, because it was just kind of goofy. I felt like so.
It's a goofy movie. I don't think it's meant to be taken like seriously.
No.
That's what I like.
I think the commentary was supposed to be taken seriously. There's a lot to be dug out of the character and what the character's business and relationships say about it. Basically everything, especially in show business, because it starts with somebody who is ultimately defined by her job. That's all of
Yeah.
her relationships. Every man we meet in this movie, starting with Dennis Quaid, who is the fucking best, who is he is just
Dennis
the
Quaid is
fucking
the
worst.
It's basically what's that guy that went to jail?
Every
just
line
like
with Dennis Quaid is just further and further into the absurd, disgusting manliness of this guy.
monster,
Yeah.
disgusting.
I think that's the point, though.
Vile man. It was great,
And it's just the fucking best. But so we start with this character who's living her life defined by her job, and every meaningful relationship is gone when she loses her job. She goes home, there's the housekeeper. She goes to the bar, she's alone. She goes to the doctor, she's alone. She's got nobody. And they culminate this with her taking up the date with Fred, who gives her his number at the beginning of the movie, somebody she hasn't seen in like 40 freaking years.
Yeah.
She's got nobody. She's got nobody. She's only got her job, which is defined by her beauty standard.
Her beauty, right?
Yeah, that's much like a life.
So the whole thing,
with,
so the whole thing becomes, what's the beauty standard mean to people in the industry, and what's it mean to women and the attention that they get? And they juxtapose Demi Moore with against Margaret Qualley's character. Demi Moore's tossed aside. Mark Qualley is immediately, without question, accepted, put back on TV. She goes right back for her old job, which was like my biggest character flaw here, because why the fuck wouldn't she open up her own business to try and shut Dennis Quaid down? But whatever. She goes right back to her old job and has it less than 24 hours.
Yeah.
Because that's all it took. It's a younger,
normal.
brighter ass in techno music.
That's Hollywood, basically.
Yeah, and it's disgusting. Imagine being a human
No, it
being
is disgusting. No, it is disgusting. But
yeah, thank you, Ed. That's the fucking commentary. What's it feel like to be somebody in that business? What's it mean to you to be a physical quantity? It sucks.
It does suck.
Yeah, no, for sure. And they brought that character in from her past to like try and show her, right? I mean, obviously this guy isn't like some hot thing that she wanted to pay attention to, but they wanted to say like, hey, this person still does care about you despite what you look like and what you're going through. But of course, right, she chooses to completely ignore that because that doesn't matter to her, right? She wants to be the hot new thing.
She wants to be loved too.
She wants
remember,
that drug.
Like
It's
just
like a drug.
the one little bouquet of roses is basically what changed her mind to not killing the best version of herself.
Yeah.
So like it's just that need that also actors have to be like validated and noticed and loved.
Yeah, well, think about it like this. If you grew up having that attention for so long, and then all of a sudden it just stops, you're going to want that again. It's, for some people, it's like a drug.
I mean,
kind of like how wrestlers
the whole point here, Ed,
wrestle
is that,
and have all this admiration and
what happens sometimes is
when they get old, they don't have any more.
You make sure that when the eggs are sort of like halfway cooked, you flip them over.
But the price of eggs is too high.
You know what I mean?
The price of eggs is too high.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So,
okay.
For instance, Ric Flair in his prime, amazing.
See, this is what you want.
Never mind.
Yeah. No, it makes sense. No, hold on. It makes sense.
Okay.
Ric Flair in his prime was amazing. He got the attention. He had the skills. But now he's what, 80 or 90? And to this day, he still makes an announcement that he has one more in him. And when he does wrestle at his age now, it's frightening. No one wants to see it. People treat him differently. They tell him retire. It's basically your grandpa trying to wrestle John Cena. It's a different feel. Just looking at him, it's the same thing with this. With reality, like people would like to see, the bright new young star, but then when that bright new young star becomes a old flame, it's a different feel.
I think you missed the point entirely. The whole
Not
point is
necessarily.
when you put everything into being a physical commodity, your whole life is hollow.
Yes.
Nah, I think you're wrong. I think this movie was produced by Vince McMahon.
I agree. Yeah. But the point I'm saying is that because the person that's that old now, they want that feeling again. They want to be admired again. That's why they say, I got one more in me or whatever, because for some people, that's a drug to them. That's what filled them, and now they're hollow.
Well, I don't think. Actually,
now
before
Because
we
he
get
said it.
dark side, what are your thoughts on this?
I mean, you summed it up. I mean, you could say
The Ric
that's
Flair?
why.
Is that
Yeah.
your?
It was the Ric Flair.
Yeah, I mean,
Is that what got you on board?
Yeah.
The Ric Flair analogy.
Dark side was like, I don't understand any of this, but as soon as he said Ric Flair, he's like, woo! I was like, I like that.
But isn't the Ric Flair analogous? Like, isn't that the surveillance of it all? Like, I mean, when
It
you
is
think
the
about
surveillance of it all.
It
You're
always
right.
Ric Flair.
it,
I disagree with that. So I don't think the thing is, it's not like she, Demi Moore's character is not like, I got one more in me. She doesn't want to be just the one more. She wants to be the it. Father Time has not been nice to her overall. And like, as with all of us, she is now like Snake said, she was a commodity that was hot. It was great. It's like you get the brand new car. You were like, man, this car is great. Now, 20 years from now, will that car be as great as the day that you got it? Now, there are some people who are going to look at that car 20, 30 years from now and be like, oh my God, this car is still the greatest thing ever. We have friends, Ed and I has friends that have Grand Nationals. They look at the Grand National as if it was the latest Bugatti that came out because they love that car. Even though the car is so much older, they love it. That's where the high school friend comes in. He's like, oh my God, you were the most beautiful girl. You still are the most beautiful girl I've ever seen, blah, blah, blah. But to the TV executives, she's not. So I don't, like they said, with the Ric Flair analogy, I get what you're saying. But the Ric Flair, she's not looking for the one time.
I'm talking about the hollow part.
Hold on, return.
As soon as said Ric Flair, Mike.
Oh, his brain.
I said it.
Okay.
Yeah, as soon as I heard Ric Flair, like my brain just stopped. So I don't know how you actually understood what Ed was trying to say.
Well, no, I don't think it's wrong. I don't think his analogy is correct in the pure sense of what he's saying. But I get what if you were saying Ric Flair was, or like Vince McMahon would probably be the better example of what his analogy was. That Vince McMahon still wants to be that young guy. He's always wanted to be that young guy. He wants to be the guy in charge. He wants to be the guy in charge. When it came down to the WWE, he didn't want to give up the WWE. He doesn't want to give up his company.
He's still on Ric fucking Flair?
Yes, we are.
We're talking about Vince McMahon now. We moved.
No, there's a Vince McMahon.
Get on the boat.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, her character is dealing with the idea that she's no longer it. She is no longer the profitable, marketable item that she was for the past 30, 40 years of her life. Now she's looking back and is like, I want to be that again. I want to regain my youth. I want to regain the title that I have of being the it girl. No, she no longer has it. But what Margaret Qualley's part is, she has it, but now she doesn't have enough time to actually get it. So it's like Demi Moore's character wants to go back in time. Margaret Qualley wants to kind of be able to afford the time to go forward, to enjoy the entire lifespan, to be able to enjoy her youth and enjoy all the things that come with it. So that's why I was saying, like, their paths both started at the same point. They diverged because they wanted two separate things. But at the end, when, Margaret Qualley was just trying so hard to regain some more time, get more time, that she went to desperate measures to inject herself to use the activator drug again.
Yeah.
They're that's why you saw, Demi Moore's character in the back. They're all the same character now. They're kind of like they're both of their goals kind of aligned now. They just want to be it. They just want to be it at this point. They realize that they both don't have time anymore. So now they're just it. They just want to be it for that brief second that they can. And then we saw the tragic end of
and what happens because of that?
Oh, they destroyed themselves. They destroyed themselves.
No, they don't even destroy themselves. This desperate need for attention above all else, Stu feeds off of Demi Moore's character, and as that continues to like compile upon itself, they literally turn into a monster. The whole point is this self-indulgence turns you into a fucking inhuman thing.
Yeah, it's almost like a few real Hollywood celebrities. You know how they get.
Can we mute him yet?
No.
Let's make a vote.
No.
We can do a vote.
No, haven't you seen some celebrities that they're 60, 80 and they look very what's the word?
Age. They look inhuman.
Well,
look
no,
plastic.
they yeah, plastic basically. They inject
Yeah, but none of
themselves
them
with
turned into
big,
a Cronenberg monster.
you hear what I'm saying? Some look like monsters. You've seen pictures of like some I forgot her name. She has an enormous chest, or the lady that has like the
You can
humongous
say
lips.
boobs on the internet, Ed. It's
Yeah.
okay.
Say
You said it for me, thank you.
It's
But you know what I'm saying? Like
no,
some
I really
people,
don't. Who the fuck you talking
okay,
about?
Okay, so I'll
some
give you,
people who may look beautiful
Oh,
to
Lord.
a lot of us, but then they alter their image so much that they don't even look
Ad
the same
analogies
anymore.
are the worst.
okay, so an example would be
It's better than
so
yours.
You gotta
to
bring
be fair,
furries into this.
there was
Oh, shit.
there was a rapper that recently came out. There's a little rap beef between these two girls. Both of them are very young, but one of them is like in her like early 20s. And she's remember the girl, she said, catch me outside, how about that?
Oh.
What's her name?
Oh,
They
yeah.
call it Bad
what's her-
Barbie.
You got mad when I talk about Ric
Bad
Flair?
Bad
Barbie?
Barbie.
Okay.
Yeah, her name, but
You
her,
got mad when I talk about Ric Flair.
well,
Go on.
I'm gonna put a great analogy. Bad Barbie, she's been in the spotlight, whatever, for the past 10 years, ever since the Dr. Phil thing. And she's made a lot of money. She was the it girl for like OnlyFans. As soon as she turned 18, she made, I think, $50 million in 1 month. Because everybody wanted to see her. She was the hot new thing. She was the 18. Now, with with social media now, you can, back in the day, you could be on TV. You could be on TV for 30 years and be the it girl for 30 years. I mean, let's look at like people like Denise Richards, right? Now she didn't have a 30-year run, but she had quite a long run of being kind of like the it girl in Hollywood at certain points. And of course, there was different women. But now, Madonna, sure. So like in social media now, that can go in and out. You're hot one day, next month you're nobody.
15 seconds.
This Danny, I think her name's like Danielle Bergoli, whatever. Like if you see her now, back when she was 14, now maybe 10 years later, she looks totally different because she has all these face fillers and all this other stuff, trying to keep her image up, trying to look like whatever the hot things out there on the streets. And the thing is, that's what it is. Like, at one point BBLs and all this other stuff was really big, really hot. That's not going to be hot anymore in 10 years. Now you got all these girls with these fat asses trying to get with the new program and so forth. And I think it's just with the ebb and flow of popularity and fame and looks and everything else. And while like the older generation, like I said, 50 years, they could kind of be the it girl. Now it's only lasting maybe a couple years at that. Eventually, when social media continues to take over that mindset of the youth, it might just be a month or two, and you see people going through drastic changes, trying to look like the part and trying to keep up their fame and so forth. So it's like we see real life. Obviously, we see that in real life with the older generation now, but we're starting to see that also, I believe, in the youth are younger and younger. As people try to constantly look younger, constantly be in the spotlight, constantly be the person that's famous for something. And that's just
look at the family, right? That's pretty much their fame is from how they look with like the Kardashians.
Yeah.
Right. You have them trying to they do a lot of modifications to themselves, it seems. And like you have the same issues. Like, I mean, they're not turning into grotesque monsters yet, but I think like part of that commentary from the film, right? Part of that commentary from the film, how it also comes from society and like their job being to look good. And it's the more that it happens and the more that they try to hold on to that, then that's when you start turning into that monster, right? Where you can't accept yourself anymore. And you just need to do one more thing to make sure that you can hold on to that, right? Which is sad in a sense. So
yeah, no, I actually know some people in that industry in Hollywood and I won't say what state in the country, but I know some people personally, and they have to keep a certain image all the time.
What? Why does the state matter?
Hollywood's in California.
It matters.
Hollywood's in California.
No, someone mute Jake. Nobody's gonna be able to put those two things together. Sherlock Holmes shit.
Hey, guys. He's not going to tell us. He's mum's the word on the state, but let's just say it's that they're in Hollywood. But he don't tell us the state.
Listen, I know someone from Chicago, and I'm not going to tell you what state he's from.
Hey,
you know someone from Springfield now. What Springfield? I don't know.
Okay. But the crazy thing is, Dennis Quaid. The one part I do love, and I think this is why we're kind of singing Dennis Quaid's part. He was the perfect personification of the ugliness that is like Hollywood and maybe just society, Western society in well, I don't even say Western, I'll say all society in general. Like this man he was unchanged the entire movie. All these old white men who were, well, I say white men because that's what they kind of focused on. But there was literally like all these old white guys that were ones that were applauding and like bigging up the young women to become.
They're gonna make money off of them.
They're making that money off them, yeah. And they were like bigging them up while they are not adhering to the same standards that they're forcing on their, as Snake said, their resources. They look at those women as money. They're literally cash. They're looking at them like who's the new pristine thing in Hollywood. Now I thought that was really cool. Like Dennis Quaid, when he was in the restaurant eating the
shrimp.
The shrimp and like you just all the junk, gross skin. I'm not gonna lie, I got kind of uncomfortable. Like that was actually worse.
From the moment we meet him, we get this face-to-face shot of him at the urinal. And it's him, you know, he's jerking it real hard to get every last drop out, and he's got his phone crooked up against his face real tight, and every fucking movement's fucking gross. And then we get to the shrimp sequence, and he inhales like 2 pounds of fucking shrimp. Like how apparently he ate like 2 pounds, like 2 whole pounds of shrimp for this sequence. And it's disgusting. And then we move on. We see him. We see him in one of the meetings. He's smoking a cigarette, and he dabs a cigarette out. We get this real this jab of a cigarette into the ashtray, and it's just this nasty blurt of fucking ash. Every movement out of this guy is violent and gross, and has like a juicy fucking spit quality to. And it's the editing in this movie is
his
top
shit
fucking
on everything.
notch.
If you notice. Like his fingers, all the grease in it, he was just rubbing it on everyone. Even on the guy that he went to meet, he's like rubbing it on his fucking coat
person I've ever seen, and it's so good.
It's really
it's so good.
He's the nastiest thing to watch.
The cinematography on this was beautiful because they perfectly highlight. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, some of those close-ups, I was like, damn, they're really getting in there.
Gross, because you see all his like pores, and he's like beat red and sweating, and I'm like, oh my god, like, you can almost smell him through the screen. You can smell like probably like the alcohol that he's been brining in.
Yeah.
4K, baby.
Sleazy.
Thank you for this choice, Green Tuner.
Just to reiterate too, what Creamcast was saying is like, going back to that scene where he's in the bathroom and he's on the phone, he's talking to somebody and talking about how useless this person is now, that Elizabeth is, because she's old and gross and nobody wants to see that. But it's like he is the personification of what he's talking about, right? But it doesn't matter for him, exactly, right? Like, because he can be as gross as you want to be and just still make as much money as he needs to.
It's ironic.
Yeah, the standards only go the one way.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, you have this fat Blrd who is saying, "Oh, you don't look perfect, or you don't look you don't fit the type." But that person that's saying the same exact thing is completely not the type at all. But hey.
Well,
that's how life is.
I think it's the opposite. I think he fits the part. He is the part.
Oh, he fits his part, but I'm saying he doesn't fit the. Like if the roles were reversed, he wouldn't fit a beauty standard.
Yeah, he wouldn't be the beautiful male standard and so forth that would be considered, profitable. But that's the thing. I think that's where the movie's trying to differentiate is that there are roles for each gender, pretty much, where the males are kind of lauded for their acumen to find the next hot thing. They're the business guys. They don't have to look pretty. They're the ones that have the money and they have the power and so forth. While the women's power was in their beauty. And past their beauty, they had nothing else to really offer. It didn't matter that Elizabeth was a fitness expert who had many, many years of a following. All that matters is that she was beautiful. And even on the rating scale, she still probably wasn't going. Well, she wasn't rating as high as Sue was. So one thing that people cared about wasn't that, oh man, Elizabeth has helped me lose 100 pounds, blah, blah, blah. I watch her every day and I work out with her. No, it's about who's beautiful. And the ratings went out through the roof where Elizabeth was forced into daytime while Sue got pushed up into nighttime working out or afternoon, whatever, prime time, because she was so popular. So It is pretty daunting to see the roles, how well they're kind of personified, and I think the cool thing is that they crank it up, the personification for
Yeah.
each role. For the men, Dennis Quaid, he was overly disgusting, overly obnoxious, overly overbearing and crass and rude,
Yeah.
while women were overly caring about time, overly caring about their beauty, overly caring about their fame. So is literally overhyped personification of each role, but I mean, it still
Yeah.
is
It
relevant.
just cranked up to 10 or 11, really.
Yeah. So no, I'm not. Hey, Green Tuner, as much as I make fun of you for your artsy movies that you like to watch, I
like it.
I did like this. This was
Yeah, this an accessible art typey movie. Yeah.
yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. I felt like it was really accessible. I feel like most people will understand it. This is not a deep one. You're
I don't know
deep.
about accessible.
I think it was.
Yeah, like the
movie.
subjects covered
Alright.
obviously are serious subjects, but when you go to see it, don't expect it to be like a fucking
Scorsese?
Oscar bait movie.
It's still,
Yeah,
it's still
it's
like a body
Like a
horror
Scorsese
film.
movie.
You're dealing with body
It's very
dysmorphia.
obvious.
Yeah,
It,
body dysmorphia,
it's a
body
body
horror.
especially like even like the syringes look like the Reanimator, like the movie with that like bright green glow, like
Yeah.
all like the things that make it like Lovecraftian,
Mhm.
or even
I
like the creature.
love-
Remember at the end with her face was like crawling. That's a Lovecraft thing where she's like staring into the stars and shit. It's like Jesus.
Yep.
Yeah,
I
this is
love
what
the
the movie should-
stylization.
I wanted to ask you this, this too. I saw this on my phone. So, the one when there was a big blob, was that CG or was that some kind of animatronic?
No, that was a real mutant that they made just for the movie.
Yeah,
I
they
should have
literally
known.
took a
I
blood
should have
sample
known.
Grow
from
it,
Demi
yeah.
Moore, and
I should have
they
known.
injected it into a blob.
It was her clone made just for that.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
actually it was.
Those were the failed Neuralink experiments from Musk's lab.
Yeah, and then she
True.
stopped the escape. Yeah,
True.
Yeah.
After they researched it with their SpaceX from Mars, they brought it back.
You know,
and
it's funny. It's like people think CG is
Yeah.
crap, and they say, "Oh, CG doesn't look as good as it did like 10 years ago," and so forth. But then you have people like the Ed Underground.
there's some
like,
truth to that.
Ed Underground's like, "Is this real?"
No,
Holy
no.
It's probably
There's some truth to that. There's some truth to that. You look at CGI from Disney 10 years ago and now, big difference.
because it's just a timing thing. Now they're
I know.
crunching them out or cranking them out as fast as possible and as cheaply as possible. So the results speak for
To
themselves.
answer your
Yeah.
question, Ed, it was a full body
Yeah.
prosthetic. It took like 5 hours to put on.
Sweet.
They're practical effects.
Well, I
which is
think
nice.
wait, Ed, were you talking about the blob that's crawling to the star? Or are you talking about the whole scene where she was the huge
When she
blob?
was on the stage and then the thing fell out her eye.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
And
When they were
yeah,
both
and you
combined,
saw the
yeah.
blood spring every like
that was so cool. Yeah, it's just like everyone run.
Yeah, that was a little grotesque. I'm not gonna lie, that was
Yeah.
a lot of blood because they did not let any square inch go untapped in blood.
I
So,
was not expecting it. That's all. I think I was fine because I'm used to playing like games that have that kind of grotesque gore, if you would.
sure,
But I just wasn't expecting that.
yeah, no, that's fair. That's definitely fair.
Yeah. Thank you, Green Tuner.
Yeah,
You got
no, I do appreciate this. This was not necessarily the typical Blurred podcast fare. I mean, I do want to like kind of bring this back into Blurred podcast-esque territory.
Mm.
So, I mean,
This could be esque too. But go on.
can DC? I wonder if DC and Marvel could do something. No, I'm kidding. We have to bring it back to like Thor or some shit or Infinity Stones or whatever crap.
No.
No, this was cool. This was outside, obviously, our usual fare, but I think this was it was interesting nonetheless. Yeah, you guys want to go ahead? Unless you guys have anything else you want to add to it, you guys want to go ahead and get
I
to
could talk
this?
about this movie for another fucking hour. Like, the nonstop barrage of discomfort that this movie throws at you from start to finish.
Yeah.
The lack of dialogue and the stylization. Just there's so little actual speaking in this movie and how it drives itself with the soundtrack, the effects, and the editing. It's just so good, and it moves at a good clip. At no point does this movie feel slow.
Yeah.
there weren't a lot.
It
of
feels
ways to
almost
see
like
it, for sure.
Run Lola Run, where it's like just like a steady, like fast, like repeatedly like aggressive pace where it just like keep going, and it also like keeps building up on itself because it starts off like just a random sort of sci-fi-ish movie, and by the end we're watching like, you know, this weird like amalgamation of creature.
Clayface.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was great. I love the pacing of this movie. I could watch this movie 10 times.
Well, I was
I've
just
seen
saying-
it twice. It got better on the second watch.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was once you understand it, you can see the foreshadowing. You can see a lot of you see through some of the layers. You really start to appreciate why this was like one of those most anticipated scripts for several years. It sat on a shelf. Like it's
Really?
You
fucking
feel, like
good.
it had, you feel
It's-
like it had layers? I don't feel like it was that deep. Not even deep.
It's
like,
not that deep, but there is a little bit of subtlety to just
The
the art
madness.
direction and the
Yeah, like-
editing. Not that there are characters, but like there are also a lot of good references to other flicks in there. Like the whole body falling apart sequence is apparently a reference to The Fly.
And it was like a beautifully shot movie.
Oh.
Even at its grossest, it was still like a beautifully shot movie.
Yeah.
It was like very well, like you can tell even in its violence and goriness, it was like very thought out on how everything would, you know, be laid out. Yeah, it's a gorgeous movie. Like even the when it switches to what's the younger girl, like everything just gets super saturated and like, you know, like
I was gonna say
everything gets pumped up to like 1,000. Like the music even changes, it becomes like more like a grinding, like super bass heavy techno, and then when it goes back to Demi, it kind of you get a small little break.
Yeah, I'm looking at the trailer right now, and like when you could even compare the outfits in between the two, you have like Demi when she first, when Elizabeth first did her first workout, it was like in this muted dark blue little leotard situation. But then when Sue comes out, it's sparkly, it's pink, it's really popping. All her colors are really popping. She's always very flashy, and then there's, you know, Elizabeth, very muted, very kind of jaded in her age. She's doesn't need to be flashy anymore, and she's kind of lost. She's lost that appeal over time. It's kind of like she's matured. It is literally a signal of maturity, of her just becoming more, I guess, in herself, as opposed to Sue who was very out there.
And some would say if you were to do that, if Demi Moore was to do that flashy stuff, they would say, "Oh, act your age" or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
That's
Demi Moore
precisely
just
what they
started
were
a movie where
saying,
she was
yeah.
naked for half of it. She was fucking
Yeah.
fearless for this
She
movie,
was,
and it was awesome.
Yeah,
She's
much
always been.
she looks insanely amazing. Like,
I haven't seen anything
I
bad
was
from
gonna say,
Demi
it's
Moore.
funny. It's
but-
funny that they used her for that role, just because it's like she still looks good. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Obviously, like,
But
I think she looks exactly like she should have looked, and I absolutely
She was perfectly
love that
cast
she
for
was
this.
absolutely
Just yeah, because
100%.
obviously this has parallels to you know, obviously this has parallels to what she's actually going through. You know what I mean? So she's probably able to pull like from her life experiences and be able to give you even that better of a performance.
Well, I'm sure
Because honestly, she's the only one that's
I think
plays it serious throughout this movie. Everyone else is fucking like
it lends a
out
lot to
there,
the commentary
you know what I mean?
too, and it really sells.
But you gotta understand,
Yeah.
Demi Moore is also 63, or she's 62
Yeah.
at this time. So the fact that she's 62, I mean, she has a great body for what she's playing as. So that kind of tells you, like, as 62, you know, the reality of her, like the struggles that she goes through. This is something that she's obviously still constantly dealing with. And some capacity, it maybe not for her, maybe not herself. She may be, you know, herself in her right mind, but what society is wanting for her, I think is very telling. And the fact that, you know, I mean, how many 62-year-old women do you see in Hollywood willing to get bare naked, you know, in several scenes? I mean, she was naked a good portion of the film. And you know, the fact that she was able to bear it out. Now, I know probably 9 times out of 10 she knew this role was coming, so she's like, me hit some weights. But she looked phenomenal for her age. But when you compare the 62-year-old, Demi versus what Margaret's probably like 30 something. I think she's 30 now. 30 or 31. Yeah, 94. So she's 30 right now. So you look at somebody's 30, literally double your age, and how much time can move along. And like, no matter how good you look, time is going to pass, and it's just the reality.
Says you. I'm kidding.
Right. How many blurs?
Thanks, Ed. That delightful commentary.
Anyways, I'll say two things then to just move on. If you have not seen this movie, those listening and watching, I would say, one, I didn't know this was in theaters at one point. I rented this on Apple for like $5. Could rent it.
A lot of people didn't know it was in theaters.
Yeah,
I know, like a few of us know, but a lot of people don't even know it exists.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Yeah, it was like a limited.
If you haven't seen it and you're interested to see it, rent it out. It's a good movie. And second thing, I don't know why, but certain things when the Blob started, it reminded me of Total Recall with Arnold Schwarzenegger when his head was about to blow up. I don't know why. Huh?
We're not gonna do Kawadu. You're gonna do Arnold Schwarzenegger's head blowing up instead of Kawadu, which was the mutant alien attached to a person's gut.
Oh, I forgot about that part.
You and I do not live on the same fucking wavelength, dude.
No, we don't. I'm up here. You're down here. So get on my level.
All right.
Anyways, that was the two things.
I'm not gonna lie, it's rare to get Jake to shut up after you say something witty to him. So you got him, man. I mean,
you
validating that?
Yeah.
I wasn't even gonna fucking examine the response.
Don't worry about it, Snake.
No,
you just got
don't worry about
owned.
it, bitch. You got God. You got owned. All right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if he'll recover.
Yeah, he won't ever recover. Like
The bird was start calling you Anakin because that was yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh shit! You just
Hold
owned
on.
yourself.
Yes.
Fucking killed the rest of them. So
That was a what?
And that was not the one. You just literally owned yourself. Shut the noise.
Yeah.
No, I know myself.
holy shit!
Okay. Yeah. As muted.
Do you ever think before you speak,
Stuck
or
by
just start
midichlorians, bitch.
Give out the blurry.
I've never heard somebody mute.
Yeah.
I never heard somebody actually own themselves so bad. Like Ed just did now. Holy shit! All right, Dark Side, you've been unreasonably quiet, and it's making me.
Yeah, it's way too
uncomfortable.
quiet.
Yeah, like most times we can't get this guy to shut up. Dark Side, what would you give this Blurries wise?
Does that mute button even work? Or you want to like? Does it work? I'm seriously. I'm wondering. What has? Hold on.
The last hour has been torture.
What has Darkseid been thinking for the last 30 minutes is what button do I hit in Discord? Really, I'm fucking around in Discord. How do I take control here to mute an individual? That's literally. Yeah, no,
I can see him.
Gonna mute Snake, but
I
yeah, I
can see
wasn't gonna mute Snake.
Yeah, Captain's log. Can't
Love
find
you,
it.
dog.
Day 3,
Yeah.
can't find the mute
Plug.
button. All right, Ed is still muted. He's been muted this entire time, so I'm about to unleash.
He has been muted?
No, I muted him just now. Okay,
Is he muted right now?
Yeah, well, he was. Now I muted him.
Good.
I
When-
Oh,
when-
no,
when-
damn.
How long have you
when-
You
apparently
know
did
you
it?
can do it in such a way that everybody knows that he's muted.
Yeah, can you like make it clear that he's muted? Like, I mean, like
There it is.
There we go.
That's
All
the-
right, I see
right.
it now. It's got the little icon next to him.
Yeah.
My God, man.
So it's muted. That's right, bitch. Can't say anything.
Okay, yeah,
Listen.
and then yeah.
All
so like,
Ed told me is that Ed likes to go to men's bathhouses. All right. And he
So,
likes to
Darkseid, you've been
like
quiet.
hide inside lockers and take peeks. That's what he told me. Now he's not refuting it, so I'm assuming it's a real statement that he said. So, all right, go ahead, Darkseid. What were you saying?
I also like the movie. But you guys have basically talked about all the aspects and the metaphors and analogies and meanings behind all the stuff. So I mean, I'm not, obviously all that stuff is there. I will say that I was a little bit, even though I liked the movie for all the reasons you said, I think it was visually gorgeous and the use of sound, like you said, especially that like every time they show the Substance logo, like the title, that like wah, wah, that sound that like,
oh yeah, that music.
Yeah, I love the sound effects. It's almost comical, but it sells so well.
Yeah, it does. It's good, well used. Yeah, the even the like the packaging that it comes in, like the font and everything, like the style of the movie and all the choices they made, like the little place she goes to get the package. You know what I'm talking about?
The lockers, how they kept losing lockers, like because people were basically just killing themselves left and right.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
Like,
seriously.
Yeah, at the beginning there were like 100 lockers, and every time she went, there were like less and less and less, up to the point where there was like what 3 by the end of the movie.
I thought they showed the shot. They showed that shot at the end when she was like freaking out to get the last one, and then it was like a little like triangle of lockers. I was like, I was thinking in my mind, I'm like, has it always been like that? But okay, that's really cool that you guys noticed that. I did not notice that at all.
Well, did you see it once or twice?
Just once.
No, I mean Dark Side.
The
once, I'm sure.
Because Snake saw it twice. I gotta see it again because I didn't.
The mute has wore off here. I don't know if anyone's noticed.
You are the mute.
All right, Dark Side, go ahead, man.
Okay. No. Like I said, like I like the style. I like the substance of the movie, if you will, the surveillance.
He said the thing. Play the alarm,
guys. I did it.
You did the thing.
Yeah, no.
You did the move.
I like this. I like the look of the movie a lot. Obviously, really nice, really refreshing. You guys pretty much said everything. But I was kind of disappointed, even though I liked the movie a lot. I was kind of a little bit disappointed that the final transformation I thought it was going to be grosser. And I don't think anyone specifically.
So having a titty fall out of your eye and blood spewing everywhere and
Dark
you want
Side.
more?
I recommend a little movie called Tokyo Gore Police.
No,
that has some really crazy body modifications.
This is the next episode of the Blrd podcast.
I liked and I'm not a gore whore or anything. You know what I mean? This is not up my alley. These are not the type of movies I watch. But in the chain of transformations that she had, the most fascinated and captivated I was and impressed I was the first sequence. Well, I don't know.
Lady?
No, actually, no.
Oh fuck! That was my favorite.
No, I didn't. I'm not a fan of the old lady. Though the old lady more was comedic. Like it was like there was one point where she was running, like she was dragging the younger version. I couldn't stop laughing.
Like where'd she get the strength for? She's grabbing the body with one arm and she's like shuffling around.
Yeah. Okay. There's a lot of stuff I forgive in the movie where I was like looking at it and going like. And I know I'm not supposed to like. That's not the point of the movie.
This is not hard sci-fi, okay? There's no like.
That's not so much the hard sci-fi.
You're wanting Scorsese or something.
No, I'm not wanting anything. I'm just saying that there are a couple of moments where I was like for example, when I was questioning the movie, like if it was, like for example. When she
sorry to interrupt. Which one was the first transformation? Which was your favorite? Just so I can have the mental thing in my mind.
Okay. Not so much the transformation. When the younger version of her's arms coming out of the back of the older version, like right in the beginning, the first thing, like that really that kind of set the tone for where I wanted this movie to go, and it ended up in a very like comedic, goofy, prosthetic, and like but that first scene was so like wet and natural, like visceral, like the paleness of the skin of the younger version.
It's the first form.
There was a lot of like textures and stuff that I thought were, I don't know,
very alien. It's very 1979 Alien.
Yeah,
Mm.
and whereas I think it got to the end for some reason, like paper mache, like is where I'm where it ends for me, and it's like a little, you know what I mean? Like I
can
wish
see
it was a
what
little
you're saying.
more. Yeah, like it got goofy, and I'm okay where it got goofy, and I like that because like the whole movie took a direction that was like, where else would it go? Like I'm okay with it, but what I was talking about was the scene where she's stitching her older self, like the seam behind in the back. How does she like? Was there? I was thinking like, is she like? Does she have some nursing background or something that I missed? But she just
No.
knew how to do that. She also knew all the instructions
Yes.
to extract the spinal fluid, and like I thought,
Surface
like
level. Surface level.
sure, surface level. She knew like carpentry and how to like break a wall and build this little room.
Yeah.
And
She also split from another human
as someone who
being.
knows how to do
It's
all
the
that,
side
she
effects of the
certainly
drug.
didn't know how to do any of that shit.
It's
Because
the
I don't
side
know.
effects of the drug.
yeah, so I was thinking, is it a side
Yeah.
effect of the drug that it gives you
Yeah.
like a knowledge of
No,
stuff?
no. It's
Yeah,
just
no,
because
that's
the plot
exactly what it
needed it
is.
to happen.
They
Because
were
the
kind
plot
of
needed it.
they were kind of playing with the what I viewed it as they were playing with the idea that they were supposed to be one, right? Like you are her, she is you. You are
Yeah.
one. But at the end of but several times in the movie, you can tell that while they might share some knowledge, there are two individuals, two separate individuals. Or if they are the same individual, think about it like this. That's how I kind of looked at it. Think of yourself at 15, right? Like let's do something equivalent, like half
Different
our
mind.
age. Yeah, like totally different. Like if your 15-year-old self was born into this world at this moment and saw you today, would you both be on the same wavelength? Even though you're the same person?
I would tell you right now, if a 15-year-old version of myself broke apart from me, that 15-year-old version would not have any carpentry skills or DIY knowledge at all.
Or have
Like him
so
any
bad.
more than I do, probably
Right.
less so. You know what I mean? So just going back to that. It is surface level, but for some reason I was expecting the movie to explain it at some point too, and I gave up at a certain point. At a certain point, I did give up, and I was thinking at some like to go back and like be like, maybe there was an ADR line about like, remember how you used to be a nurse and a carpenter back in the day? Like I mean, like there was. So,
I would have hated if they did that. No, this is you're not supposed to read that much.
That's
into
it's
it.
too
Well,
deep. That's too deep.
Yeah,
think-
we just moved past these ones.
I think that how I moved past that is it occurred to me, but how I moved past that mainly is the instructions for the process of the substance. There are no instructions. She just knows what to do.
None.
And once you like, if that's like something that you can go along with, then everything else she does is perfectly
I think
fine.
they can
It's
get
like
away
how
with
is
it.
she eating the exact same amount of nutrients every 7 days? It's
Yeah.
impossible. You
Yeah.
don't eat the same amount of food every week.
I think they can get away with it. I think right
so
now
you
you're
really
kind
want to
of
get that down to
nitpicking. If the movie wasn't good, then okay, how does she know how to do all of those things? But I think it's good enough where that can just like, all right, I'll let that kind of slide type thing.
Sure.
But you could be just nitpicking right now too. It's not a perfect movie.
But
None of them are.
It didn't need to slide. I'm not saying it needed to slide at all. I'm just saying
for you, it needed explanation of the why.
I was
I don't think
looking
he needed it.
for,
He would have appreciated it.
I was what I'm saying is I was expecting or maybe was looking for an explanation, and naturally I understood why there's no explanation, and I was okay with it as the movie progressed. But at a certain point, when certain things started happening, I was like going like, okay, and not having fully understood where like we would end up. I thought that maybe they would explain certain things, and maybe I was overthinking certain portions of the movie. But overall, like I said, going back, I think it's perfectly fine. Like I said, really enjoyed it. I will say, like I said, I was kind of disappointed with the final transformation. It gets too goofy. I wish it went down the horror route and became.
I thought it was kind of horror-ish.
Nah, I think it just loses itself. I know what they're trying to do.
I didn't see.
It's body horror, but it's not a horror movie.
I think
it's not a horror movie, but it
gets into the commentary, right? And then it's trying to just make sure that the messaging of the movie ends in the right way. Whereas I wanted it to go like halfway through the movie, I was like, it kept building up towards like this, like
final form.
when she drains all the like fluid, and there's like that covered body in there. Like I was expecting it to go to like some really crazy places, and it kind of started to go there, and then like I'll be honest, Grandma kind of disappointed me.
Yeah.
I wanted something Clayface-esque. You know what I mean? Like, to come out of
We
that.
had that though.
There it is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
There it is.
I
We go full circle to
But
the
you know
comic
why?
book.
No, hold
Yeah.
on. Do you know why?
There's a
Do you know
DC.
why?
There's a
Do you know
why.
why? Do you know why I'm going full circle?
No, go
Because
ahead.
it
Enlighten
is.
us.
It's February 26th, and
This is last week.
Almost
is
the end of Batman History Month. You're right.
almost the end of Batman. And as we know, those of you who are curious, we have a new president in charge. DEI is done, so Batman History Month has been minimized.
Minimize.
Even though he
Merit
invented,
based only.
peanut butter, Batman is not as relevant as he used to be.
Wow.
So this
I hate
is
you so much.
this for the next 4 years.
Hmm.
This minor shout out
Yes.
Rebellion.
will be all that we could give
Oh,
Batman. I'm sorry.
We got Only Toes in the chat.
Love
He
you,
says-
Only Toes. Keep showing
Oh.
up.
as
Only
he
Toast
says-
still exists?
He said Ed Musk in the flesh. Yes, Ed Musk is in fact here. Only Toast said, based off of Darkseid, what you said, he says, I'm sold. He's gonna go watch it now. So
There you go.
Thank you for that. You have successfully
guess.
convinced.
There you go. There you go. Only
I
Toes.
guess.
The movie's called Surveillance. It came out in 2008. Enjoy it. That's
Enjoy
all I'm
it.
saying.
Yeah, you're going to be surprised.
Subnatural, whatever.
It's a good flick, Only Toes. Don't eat like any less than an hour before this flick.
Yeah,
Nah, have a lot of like noodles, like slippery wet.
yeah,
I mean, I
Eat-
boiled
Lots of
eggs
ice cream.
and-
While you view
Lots of ice
yeah.
cream.
While you're viewing it, yeah.
Eat a whole pie and like have a big old belly.
Yes.
Not
And
just
bring
pie, a
some
shepherd's pie.
bring some ginger
like
ale
nice,
for later. Just
like hearty.
just do it.
Well, the one thing. Okay, so I have one question.
Mm.
Why, in my mind, since we're in this sci-fi world, there's not a lot of instructions that go into how this works, right? Like you just have the kits, and I mean, let's be realistic. The kits are kind of self-explanatory. If you have something that's a needle, you know it's going to go into a vein, or it's going to get injected into the body somehow. If you see two needles on both sides, you know you're going to be, having one needle on one person, another needle on another person. Kind of self-explanatory. But what I don't understand is, and well, the other thing about the spine thing, that was kind of left field. But if I was grandma and the young person was taking my remaining youth out of me and injecting it into themselves, at a rate where the cerebral fluid wasn't getting replenished, why couldn't she do the opposite to the young version, take out some of her cerebral fluid, put it into her? Now I know it's supposed to stabilize, but like
They tell you, they are one. They are one. They are the same. The whole point of this is she's not happy with herself as Elizabeth. She wants what the younger one can have.
Well-
She's all in on the younger one taking more time because that's where the validation comes from.
But also,
Well, yes and no.
the spine. Well, to answer your question, Creamcast, the spinal fluid is a stabilizer. It'll just stabilize your state that you're in. It'll keep her young, and it'll keep her ass. I guess it would. I just keep her ass old. So I guess in that case, maybe that's why she didn't use it, because it just stabilizes you,
And
right?
that's why I assumed. But I'm thinking, like, if you wake up, like, because we know that when you are if you're the other half that is sleeping, because we saw that the other half, when they're in that vegetative state, they're sleeping. They can dream and all this other stuff. That's where the young one, she was dreaming of chicken coming out of her ass, out of her belly button, and so forth, because of the dreams that she was having from her other half. Sue was dreaming about what Elizabeth was doing and so forth. So I'm just like, hey, if you imagine you're Elizabeth and you wake up and your body has literally aged probably double your age at that point because Sue was, I mean, Elizabeth was pretty jacked up. I would have been super desperate to try to figure out something. Like, I'm going to stick this little young bitch and I'm going to suck out all the spinal fluid that I can and inject myself to do something to help me out. Because, I mean, she went from, you know, being a little bit old to being really old to being decrepit. And that's why I was like, shit.
One of those like things. Yeah, there you go. I guess it's one of those things where like we'll probably never fully understand the mechanics of it. It's kind of like the dream machine from Inception, where it's like it's not so important why
that's the beauty
how it works. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
that's the beauty.
Well, but like you can, you love to think about it, right? Where it came from and who that guy was, and like I love the setup of all that.
Right. Not too much exposition. It's not like they say, okay,
just enough, enough, right? You know what I mean? And the disembodied voice and the commercial and the little USB stick and just enough to like, fascinate you and like the fucking. You know what? I love the idea of that fucking door not going up all the way, and you're just like, why you walked all the way over here? Like just like the progressive steps she takes to do this, like goes to this shady ass part of town, follows those shady ass instructions. Even the door won't go up all the way. She still goes underneath it. I just love
trap right in front of the door. Yeah. It all sells to desperation.
Yeah, it really does.
In the desperation is the sell. That's how you get to the end of the movie, and there are so few boxes left.
Yeah. I mean, it's true. I mean, granted, if you ask any person, even our age, if you ask any person, any woman who's really into social media or just women in general, and men too, if you could turn back the hands of time to whatever age that you want to be to where you thought you were your perfect self, how many people would do it? We know that you can sell.
Right now, for me.
I'm
right
like,
now.
yo,
Right
take
now
it, take it, stick it
I'm
in
good.
wherever you want to. I don't care. Just do it. Do it, you pussy.
I'm good.
Do it.
The great thing about us is we would like crank, do it, inject ourselves. Our younger, better version would come on and it would go straight into the TV to start playing video games.
Yeah, that's
like you wouldn't go out and accomplish great things.
Back in someone's basement playing Halo till like 7 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, You gotta do what you gotta do.
But I could still do that, but you guys probably can't do it anymore.
That's a flex.
I didn't say it was a flex. I'm just saying.
I'm just saying, like I own the basement now, so I guess I can't. So
that makes no sense.
If that's what you want to go do, Ed, is go play Halo till 7 a.m. There is nothing stopping you.
No, I'm saying a certain person who cannot be named or spoken. Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, Blurries.
Let's get that show on the road.
Blurries.
Darkside, you were starting to say a blurry. I don't know if you.
Really, really liked it. Very, very refreshing. I'm just gonna go for a high score here, guys. I'm gonna give it 9 Ric Flairs. Woo! Woo!
All right, cool. All right.
I gotta do the rest of them here. That's the way it goes. I've lost count, so go ahead.
Now you gotta start all over again.
I'm old. What are you gonna do,
boy?
All right. For myself, I would give this a solid 8. I would say 8.5. It was very good. I did enjoy it. The ending did not land as the ending was a different cadence than the rest of the movie. It was like you almost got a Rocky Horror Show ending.
100%. I get you. It became a slightly different movie at the end.
Yeah, it became a very different movie. Like I would
that's
say
what I had.
Up until that part where she goes to the New Year's Eve thing, and she's the grotesque monster, it kind of went a weird direction, which was not what I expected. Not saying that's bad. It was just a little weird for me, but overall, a very good movie. I will definitely 100% watch this again. So yeah, 8.5 blurries for me. All right, let's go. Let's leave. Let's leave Snake last. Bandito, what you think?
I think I would give it. I'm gonna give it a 4.
Whoa!
Wasn't my cup of tea.
that's
Like
fine.
I was saying from the beginning.
Damn. Bandito hated
respectful.
this movie.
Respect, no, let him have it.
Hey, everybody,
Bandit-
everybody,
Bandito, hold on.
Democracy.
everybody, hold
Hold
on,
on,
hold
hold
on.
I want to hear it.
Yeah,
I want to hear it too. I didn't know.
Guys,
I didn't know. Go
guys,
ahead.
hold on.
I'm typically on the Bandito wavelength, and so this is
Okay.
good divergence.
Okay, guys. Okay,
Yeah,
let's let him speak. But before we do, boo that man. Boo.
Boo.
Trash.
Fuck
Hold
outta
on.
here.
Wait, hold on,
Damn.
hold on, guys. Bandito. How many Ric Flairs would you give it though?
Oh, gosh.
Oh shit.
One. I don't even like Ric Flair.
Oh shit.
Oh!
All right.
Damn. All right.
There you go,
It's
Ed.
trash.
Goddamn, man.
He hated this movie. Confirmed. He
You
hated
should
it.
take about 50% off the top there, bud.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn.
No, it's just, like I feel like I agreed a lot with what Snake was saying about the cinematography, the sound design, and the way it was shot. It wasn't too long, thank fucking goodness. But I'm just not a huge body horror fan. I felt like the story or the message of the film just wasn't. It was not too on the. I want to say too on the nose, but like I don't expect it to be like Parasite or some other like super cerebral heady movie or anything like that. I just felt like it said what it had to say pretty early on, which made it predictable. And then by the end of the movie, it was just like, what are we doing? Like when they had the fight scene, like it was goofy and funny, but like, what are we doing, right? I just didn't understand the point of it. And again, yeah, it was fucking gross. Just I'm not into that.
So you're aside from like the movie and the story and everything we talked about, you were actually turned off by the body horror part of it, which I was a little bit too. So I'm just curious.
Yeah.
Is that
Yeah, no,
that
for
played
sure.
a major factor for you?
Yes, and I don't say
Yeah.
that as it was like really, it was super good, like really bad. I mean, I was expecting Cronenberg level of stuff, which it was. But yeah, it's not for me.
To be
I'm-
fair,
I got you.
anybody who watches Dennis Quaid ingest 2 pounds of shrimp and not get grossed out, like I don't want to know that person.
Yeah,
Art.
and like you're saying, like,
the movie was purposefully hard to watch at points.
Yes.
And I
Yeah.
respect that that's not for everybody.
And that's the
and
beauty.
I feel like that stuff that worked well, like to its service, right? Like it did what it wanted to do, like with that Dennis Quaid eating the fucking shrimp and being nasty as hell. Like that worked for what it was trying to say. But yeah, I'm just like, I wouldn't watch it again.
Okay.
Okay. So four is respectable.
One Ric Flair. Okay.
One Ric Flair, yeah.
All right,
No
cool.
Ric Flairs. He doesn't like Ric Flair.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Green Turner, what you think?
10 out of 10, obviously. I love this movie.
Yeah, you did recommend.
It was engaging. It was, I love unique movies for all the reasons that I said. So 10 out of 10 for me.
This was a unique movie. I have to give it that.
Yeah, like this movie next year and probably a couple of years after this, The Substance, you will remember.
Oh
A
yeah.
lot of this other shit movies we watched, you'll forget.
Yeah.
Have you not seen Captain America: Brave New World? Hello.
Yeah.
Okay, well, maybe
Wait,
after.
what?
Okay.
Which was
Captain America obviously is gonna be burned into everyone's minds,
Thank
Forever.
you.
and Red
Thank
Hulk,
you.
obviously,
Sure,
and
reasons.
the trees, the dark
The
side
cherry-
was obsessing
the cherry-
over.
Trade
Chris
lines.
Evans
The
come
cherry
back?
trees, yes,
Was
that
this-
will be.
Was this Old Boy level of remembrance?
Those are two different
That's not relevant at
horror
all.
movies.
But
They're
did
not even
you
the same thing.
forget about that movie?
Oh
Saying
boy,
it's,
no.
yeah, it's an old boy as
did
as
he
an
say?
old boy
As in
level of
remembrance unforgettable.
Remembrance.
Is it memorable as Old Boys? What he's asking.
Yes.
Like asking me if I remember a fine summer's day as much as I remember getting kicked in the nuts. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
He gets kicked in the nuts often.
Mm. It's part of
Man.
his job.
Yeah, it's part of the job. Yeah.
I
I guess-
I respect Bandito's opinion.
Oh,
Waldo,
here we go.
I respect your opinion too, but 10 out of 10, hot damn.
Well, he
I love
picked the movie.
I love this movie.
Yeah,
Here's the thing, though. I believe in using the full spectrum of like rating things. This whole idea of like 10 is a precious whatever. There's no such thing as a perfect movie. I feel like this is a 10 out of 10 movie.
All right.
I enjoyed it.
That's gonna say-
Once again,
Ed.
Captain America: Brave New World.
10 out of
is-
10.
Okay, aside from Captain
what the
America,
fuck you
which
Did
was
Chris
an
Evans
11
come
out of
back?
10.
Did I miss that?
Yeah, you
What is-
No,
what-
Brave
what
New
movie
World,
are you
that-
talking
that,
about?
that
Did Hydra
basically
come back?
Hydra?
I don't know. I'm just saying. I gave it 10 Ric
I
Flairs.
mean, maybe.
we're all there.
you missed the leader.
We're getting real life Hydra.
I mean,
I don't know what movie you're talking about.
Snake, just say bah humbug and keep it moving, okay?
Listen, Snake is sloshed. So let's the
Woo!
best for last. Let's hear it, Snake.
I didn't say
What do you give
anything
this
yet.
movie?
Muted.
No, I didn't. I would like
Wait,
to.
Ed
give
has
my-
to give
For
it
the
his-
duration.
I
I
haven't said
already
anything
gave
yet.
his
All right,
rating, didn't it?
I didn't say anything yet.
All right, let's move on.
Seriously?
I didn't say anything yet. Yeah, seriously, I didn't say
Also,
anything.
you've been
And-
talking this whole time.
And Underground,
Yeah.
how many
Yes.
players do you give it, or Ric Flair's?
I'll give it 8 woos. It was good. It was
Hey, what?
8. I'm sorry, I didn't say it the right way. I'll give it 8.
Thank
Is that
you.
better?
Nice.
No.
Wait, did someone
Yes.
mute him when he did that?
He blew
No,
out the mic.
because I didn't
No.
see
Oh, you
myself
muted the
muted.
mic? Okay, thank God. Okay.
It's his mic.
No.
He went too high, so that's why.
He blew it
Like,
out.
Yeah,
Uh,
it
yeah.
did. Yeah,
Muted,
your mic,
yeah.
your mic did Sudoku.
Oh,
Can your mic can your
It
mic
saved
be on the
us.
podcast? What
you know,
the fuck?
yeah.
Like,
Oh
Yes.
my god, that mic saved us.
Yeah, I know. Like,
Anyways,
can we make that a Blrd podcast?
Dude, that
member?
bitch can
No.
pick up America's Most Wanted from the next room, all right? Or
That
the
makes
hell
no
we were listening
sense.
to earlier.
What? Oh,
I'm not gonna lie, it's probably
Anyways.
the funniest shit I've ever heard. Kid, the mic be
Anyways.
on the podcast.
anyways, I'll give
Mhm.
it 8 woos. I thought it was artsy. It clearly gave the message. Things didn't expect happened. I can
What would
see
be analogous to this?
I don't know. The first thing that popped to my mind was Total Recall for some reason. I can't think of another movie that's like this movie.
3 boobs.
The closest you get is with Cronenberg movies that delve into body horror while also sending like really social messages. Second to that would be like John Carpenter, the more like commentarious John Carpenter movies, like the early stuff of which I'm failing to recognize names, but like analogous lies, like we gotta go back to the 80s.
Mhm.
Well,
Drone.
This
You guys
is
are
good
reading way too much
for
into this shit.
Videodrome.
this is good for the modern audience. I'll say that. It's modern day body horror.
No, it's
So,
not.
There you go.
In a way, I
Movies
mean,
like, have you seen
Can we just
Society
glaze over
from
that
the
and move on?
80s or 90s?
I'm just saying, I
It
haven't-
was just as gross.
yeah, no, it's gross. I agree, it's gross. I'm just saying, I've
No,
not
but-
seen a movie recently for the past 10, maybe 15 years that is like this in the sense of the body horror.
White religion,
Well,
because body
10,
horror has
15
been around
years.
for a long time.
No, it has been, but to this level, within 10
There's
or 15
been
years.
plenty of movies to this level. This is just one of the ones that actually like.
Of someone
got
turning the
broad
Clayface
appeal.
and puking out a titty from your
Yeah.
eye.
yeah.
I mean,
Nice.
if that's all it
I
takes,
haven't
then we can
seen
just
that.
go to the Human Centipede. But
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's another green tuner choice that we have not explored yet, and I don't know if you can.
I don't like the Human
God.
Centipede. Actually, I don't like that series of movies.
You know,
I haven't
It's
seen
my
it.
cup of tea.
you know they're actually making a Clayface body horror movie.
Yes,
talk to
Yeah.
me.
Yeah,
that's what I keep saying. Clayface.
yeah. So I'm sure this movie had something to do with that, a little bit of that, like unlocking that potential. Like there's interest in it, that kind of movie. So I'd be down for that. I think. I mean, bringing it back to the Blurred here. I think there's potential for a lot of those like villains. Like if they pushed it to the extreme level for some of them, and went for the like R rating or horror.
Please,
push
please
it.
do.
Well, kind of what they
Please.
did with the Penguin, right? They made the Penguin more based in reality. They removed some of his comic book lore and made it more
Much more grounded.
street, more grounded, more street level. Which, I mean, who would have thought the Penguin would ever been in a world like that. So if they did if they do something similar, not necessarily grounded, but if they do something similar with these individual villains, that would be kind of cool. Like, what's the point of having somebody? Who
Yeah,
can
but you don't
morph
want to. You don't want to fucking like. I mean, they did it with the Joker, right? So like, and it was successful in the first time they did it. So they could do it again, but like I would like, but they need to push. You can't just make a movies about villains and like we've seen Marvel or Sony, they screw it up because they make them into
Raven.
they make them into
Hell no,
hero-
baby.
They make them into
craving for more
heroes.
Craven.
They make them into heroes and anti-heroes instead of
All right.
that's a fair point. No, like
Yeah,
I'm not saying making him anti. Because I think the Penguin, they did a great job of not making him an anti-hero. They just made him a villain all the way through.
Yeah.
Mhm.
yeah, and they kind of stuck to like they made him like ruthless, like they went all the way with his like
The ending
wasn't a
was
hero.
great.
He
It
wasn't a
was
hero.
but-
great because it felt
but
like
think-
such a betrayal even to the audience.
Yeah.
Yeah, but think about take Mad Hatter and like think about a movie where he stalks a woman and like take that to the darkest place imaginable. Does Hollywood have the integrity to do that? And some of these other villains, like they're deranged people. I would like to see that. So, but I welcome this experiment with Clayface if it happens.
Sure.
Yeah, I was gonna say if it happened.
Clayface is an underutilized DC character, and I think there's a lot to explore there.
Yep.
I agree.
You know, it kind of reminds. I could see Clayface being like the Invisible Man esque, right?
Mhm.
Like somewhere like you really warped that character, like because like in Invisible Man he was a decent guy at first, but then him being invisible really warped his mind. Like if they did something like with Clayface, that would be really top tier, and keep it
Oh, that's the
separate.
point.
And keep it separate out of the DCU or the Matt Reeves Batman universe. I think that just have it separate. I think that would be kind of cool, but we'll see.
Really, this movie is basically Clayface in female form in a way. In a way.
Well, Ed,
Yeah,
it's
that's a
getting
long
late,
way.
buddy.
Okay, so 8
getting late.
blurries. All
Hey,
right.
Blurry's, all right,
Yes.
Snake.
Snake.
We get the snake now, please. All right.
Fuck's sake.
Snake.
Today-
What'd you say, Saya? Gave it a 9. Cream gave it an 8. You
9.
gave it
No,
a 4.
I give it 9 Ric Flairs though.
9 Ric
Uh,
Flairs.
I
Beg your
won't-
I
pardon.
don't
Beg your
know
pardon.
what the
won't-
conversion rate is.
Bandito
Yeah, I
gave
won't
it a
disclose
4.
the conversion.
Prince gave it a
Bandito
10.
gave it 4
Don't
John
give a fuck about
Cenas.
Ed.
Mhm. Go for it, man. Fucking speak your heart.
Yeah.
I've actually been bouncing between two numbers over the
8.
last 20 minutes. It's
Go for the
Six.
high one.
No, he's
Go
going
for the high one.
6 or 8. That's my.
He's going
that's
for
fine.
an 8, I'm telling you.
Snake.
wow.
Snake.
Wow, that's interesting.
Jesus Christ, just tell us your numbers.
Well, right now the director is sitting in Hollywood like just doing
See
like
this? He's like,
sweating like
No,
what
this,
if
this is a
Tensing his
solid,
fingers.
Snake's review going to be
this is a solid 8.5 for me.
there
Wow.
you go.
Hey,
Yeah,
Huge.
yeah. It's I think that the problems with this movie are a little hard. I think there were a couple editing choices in there that hurt, and it's the fight scene, the Sue and Elizabeth fight scene was a little over the top.
the wire foo.
Going straight, yeah, the wire foo was too obvious.
I will say
it
that
was
they were
just-
one-
That's the point, though.
they were one step away from the granny going like woo and going like this
Right?
and then
Right?
All the time it was next.
They might have blown it.
I feel like they were like they were one step from making that
Yes.
a fine transition into what it
Yeah.
needed to be, but it was too much, and then it went to Cronenberg, which is like whatever. I like this movie a lot more on the second watch. I don't know what that means to anybody who gives a shit about my opinion. Whatever. But I really enjoyed it. I'd recommend it to people. Just don't fucking eat first.
There you go.
No,
So
fucking
today.
take a trip to Red Lobster before you watch this movie. Go for it when they have all
But
you
don't-
can
And make
shrimp.
sure you eat all the cheddar biscuits.
But don't eat the Red Lobster immediately. Like let it sit out and then reheat it in the microwave then you would have
That's
like
the best.
I might suggest ordering 2 pounds of shrimp and waiting until about 20 minutes into the movie and then ingesting it all.
yeah,
And then eat the
Mhm.
cheddar biscuits.
yep, and douse it with a copious amounts of milk. Don't know
Mm.
why. Don't
Man
ask why.
alive.
Don't ask why.
What
Just
do you even
it.
do it on the good day? What in the world?
Yeah. So
Is that what he drank in the movie? Did he drink milk?
no.
He
Okay.
drank wine, I believe. I
He
don't
drank-
know.
yeah, he drank
That's the
some
kind of
Kush.
guy who I feel like has a bottle of alcohol in every room he enters.
Pretty much,
yeah.
yeah. That was
Mhm.
very
100%.
grotesque of a character. All right, well, I think that's it. So
Yeah, I mean, should we thank our special guest for dropping by? It's been a while.
Yeah.
You
Oh,
know,
yeah.
Always a pleasure.
Let's all hear it.
Underground. At Underground, don't
Yeah.
don't hesitate to ever drop by again. But it was good seeing you, bud. You know,
Yeah.
I
I
mean,
mean, free dead. You guys are alive. Well, except for Yamcha. I mean, got to find the Dragon Balls again. But yeah, I'm gonna be here for a minute. Yeah.
I don't know if you're gonna be here for a minute. I mean, you
Yeah, I
said
don't know
you're
about
on
that.
Snake Way,
About
so
that.
Yeah.
Snake Way. Gotta keep going.
That was
Gotta keep going.
after the
Snake
fact.
Way.
I am back now.
yeah,
Yeah,
we're not.
no,
we'll let you
I'm
know.
back now.
Well, we'll let you know when
Until-
next episode when we review Sonic.
Mhm.
We'll let you know, and you can be a guest speaker.
Couldn't do Sonic. That's sad.
Yeah.
yeah.
But we kind of leave it to certain groups of people who really love Sonic. Like they really love, they love Sonic and chili cheese hot dogs. So
Mhm.
no, next time we do a Sonic episode, we'll let you know, and you can come back on. It has been an absolute pleasure having you on the Blurred podcast once again at Underground.
Main character, baby.
One of our famed guests. We absolutely love having you around.
Main character, baby.
Only Toe says in the chat, I'm sold. Going to watch it now, but Bandito has persuaded him, so he's no longer interested.
Oh,
Good.
Bandito.
Bandito,
Sorry.
That's
what the fuck, Bandito? Like,
God
That's
damn
the
it,
way.
Bandito.
That's the way it goes.
Mhm.
This is the roller coaster. That is the Blur
Mhm.
podcast. That's the way it happens.
I guess
So,
you win some, you
Mhm.
lose some.
Yep.
Unfortunately, we just need to continue to lose Ed.
Mm.
All right. Well,
False.
that
I
is-
am the podcast, but go on.
that is the end of the episode. Ed, as our guest, do you want to take us out from this into Extra Blurred?
Should I do it in the voice?
he doesn't know what you're talking about.
He's not okay.
I
Anyways,
don't know what
he's
he's doing.
he's
He's
good.
lost. The boy is lost.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead and mute him.
He's already
Yeah, there you
muted.
go.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah,
you.
he's taking way
Yeah.
too long. All right,
Yeah.
everybody. This has been episode 156 of the Blurred Podcast. As always, you can catch us live on twitch.tv/the Blurred Podcast, or you can watch a recording of us on youtube.com/the Blurred Podcast. And lastly, if you want to hear our voices only, our beautiful, sultry voices, you can catch us on all major podcasting platforms. Hold tight. We're about to switch over to our extra Blurred content. That's the content where we talk about all the news of the week. So hold on, and we'll be right back. Until then, if you're not going to join us, blur you later.
Delayed.
Where are you later?
For you later.
Oh, I'll unmute Ed so that he can say something.
Just ripped off what I said.